Hey guys, welcome back. BDCKR here. We're back with Season 4, Episode 3 of our Q&A&T videos. Getting right into the first Q, it comes from Max Ramos, and they say, for next Q&A, what is your favorite pieces of gear that isn't legendary?
Okay.
And the S is in brackets, so I guess we can pick one or we can do a couple.
So favorite is an interesting question. In some ways, it's almost like, you know, how baseball votes for their MVP every year.
Yeah.
And people make the argument, well, they should be on a winning team, that they should, it's not just like the best
Yeah, there's so many
player.
different categories to pick from.
Yeah. I mean, the easy, obvious answers of gears that we use all the time on pretty much every single team that we play would be that are not legendary, right? So we're talking 3 stars that become 4 stars.
Yeah.
So these are the signature gears. All right, so there's a whole group that gives you a basic damage boost with a crit chance. And that's, you know, Blade of the War God, Netherrealm Kama, Prometheum Sword, the Power to Screama Sticks. So damage boost, crit chance. But since we're not talking about using them on specific cards, there's actually very little to separate them. And they're all pretty much just as good as each other, right? So they've got the 3rd signature ability, but we're not using them on the sort of regular guy anyways. And I guess if you're going to talk about a specific gear card, in a specific combo with a specific character, then some are actually devastating and really good, but only on a specific loadout, right?
That's true.
So I'm thinking like Cloak of Destiny and League of Assassin's Knives on Batgirl or on Luchador Bane. So this is the long way. I haven't actually come with my answer, but I'm gonna maybe be a little bit sort of unorthodox and say my favorite piece of gear is a 2-star gear that turns into a 3-star gear, which is the Demon Blade. And the reason for that is that it's the only piece of gear, if you're gearing somebody for Special 2.
Yeah.
So this is, I mean, we're playing with Ares a lot less lately, but this is the only piece of gear that gives you both a damage boost on Special 2 and a crit chance on Special 2.
That's true.
Same time. Only 2 abilities. It's only 3 stars. I forgot. Does Cantu Totem have both? It might, but I mean, we're talking again legendary gear.
Yeah,
right?
non-legendary gear.
Non-legendary gear. There's nothing that does that the same way. So I think that's actually my favorite gear because I mean, if you take a look at more of the philosophical question, like we were starting off with, what your favorite is.
Yeah.
To me, this is like the ultimate underdog gear, underappreciated. It's really, really good, and I think people overlook it a lot because it doesn't upgrade to 4 stars.
That's true. So there we go. The next question comes from CB the Best, and they say, I have a question. How do I progress in Injustice as a player? Should I promote other cards or start buying gear cards? I have 750 Darkseid, Flashpoint Batman, and Arkham Origins Batman with around 50 to 80 gear point cards.
Okay. I mean, we've addressed this, I think, a few times in the past. I think it probably bears repeating every once in a while. One, because I guess we have new people in the audience, but also that as things change, as different gears are added, different characters are added, it's probably worth revisiting to see if the same strategy works, right? Which is interesting because we're talking about it from a perspective of somebody who's maybe not as don't want to say advanced, but hasn't accumulated as much in resources as we have. So in general, directly promoting cards is the least efficient way of spending your credits, and it really should be a last resort when you're pretty much fully stocked with everything.
That's true.
More and better gears cost credits, but promoting cards also cost credits. And since there's no current glitch for power credits, you're going to need to put in time to grind for them. So the priority should be doing things that will improve the speed and efficiency of your grinding.
Yeah, so basically doing as close to a snowball as possible.
Right. So gears are good because you can switch them from one card to another, so you're getting really good value, right? So when you finish with one team doing your grinding and accumulating credits, you flip the gear onto somebody else, and you've all of a sudden got another really strong character, right?
Yeah.
Now, the second most efficient place for grinding credits is bonus battle 6, if you can finish it easily. And with your team you've got 3 Elite 7 level 50 guys.
Yeah.
So you should be able to have 3 teams that can actually grind bonus battle 6, right? I mean, for those of who are maybe in a similar position but can't grind bonus battle 6 easily, priority is getting to that point, right?
Yeah.
So if we're talking to you, 2 filler cards, your gold guy, gear him up properly, and push him through. I guess the other issue is if you're looking to get some of the legend gear and rank up on multiplayer online, what you'll want to do is actually have a team that can finish fights easily. And the problem is if you have a good Elite 7 level 50 team with poor gear, you're going to actually
do crappier because everybody is going to have gear against you and you're not going to have any gear for them.
Even if you win, and it's, it's not impossible.
Yeah.
It's just tougher and it takes you more time, so your time becomes wasted. It's just less efficient again. Now, that was the second most efficient way. The most efficient way for getting credits is to grind the challenge and reset it as many times as you can. So if we're looking at the recent challenges, most of the challenge characters, they've benefited from the power creep, and most of them are good enough for both grinding and for offline play, even if they're not... they may not be the best for MP depending on what their passes are, because the matchmaker puts you in with other guys that are similar stats, but often are more optimized, I guess. So now the challenges, they've been repeating so much 1 week cycles. You can get a new Elite 7 card pretty much every week while grinding a bunch of credits in challenge. So you use these new Elite 7 cards as filler, drag them up over level 40 as quickly as possible, and then you get faster and faster grinding. So to me, the short answer to your question is your priority should be on gear cards, because you're going to be using them across a bunch of different teams, and you're going to slowly accumulate pretty good high stat characters anyways.
Yeah, just from the challenge.
Exactly, just from grinding.
Yeah. So there we go. The next question comes from Multigem, and they say, can you guys make a video on top 10 teams, please? By the way, you should really put more ads on videos.
Do we want to... Alright, so the funny part is, I don't know that there's a lot of people that feel the same way about watching more ads on the videos.
Yeah, I mean, in general, the amount of money that we're making from ads on videos is low enough that it almost doesn't matter. It'll matter a bit, but not really that much at all. So, I mean, we always could, but it's work that doesn't involve making new content, and it's work that does involve maybe frustrating people. It makes the videos actively a little bit more difficult to watch, and it's time that we could spend doing anything else surrounding the channel, and pretty much anything else is actually better for you guys. And ads isn't that much better to us to the point that it's worth it. I think it's interesting to mess around sometimes and see how it changes the numbers. I don't think it's the kind of thing that we're going to do with any kind of consistency, just because really at the end of the day it's almost not worth the time. Like it is if you think about doubling your ads for a video and doubling the revenue for a video. It is literally worth like the extra minute that it takes, but it doesn't feel like it is when you guys have to watch another ad and when we have to
and that's too
make a conscious decision about it.
If we do that and they do watch ads, right? Because there's a good chance the more ads there are, the more likely somebody is to skip them.
Here's the thing. What's better than us adding ads is if you like a channel, and this is true not just for us, for any channel, but if you like a channel and you see like a 2-minute ad on theirs, if you watch through the whole thing, they are getting actually like cents from you. They're getting way more than they would be from even like a much larger like volume of viewers who are skipping all the ads. So if you like a YouTuber and if you have the thought, man, I wish I could support them more, an easy way is to mute an ad when it comes up and just click around and do something else for a minute or two while the ad plays out. That'll actually give them a little bit of money if you want to.
So to ask what was probably the more important part of your question, actually. So you wanted a more top 10 teams, right? Or a video with top 10 teams. So here's the thing. After the top 2 teams, so in my mind, the top 2 teams are Arkham Knight with Batgirl and the full Flashpoint team. There really isn't as much separation. Like, you can make the argument that there's a whole bunch of teams that you could make that are top 10, and with the way you can mix and match, right? There's almost a limitless possibility.
The question is if there's 8 exactly.
and any new gear potentially changes things, right? So, for example, we're waiting on tenter hooks for Tantu Totem. I think it's going to change a lot depending on who we end up, because right now I think Ares doesn't really rank the same way, but once Tantu Totem, I think an Ares and Batgirl team is going to be really top 2, top 3.
Because Ares is going to totally be able to kick butt.
So, and here's the thing, the time it takes to get familiar with the team is probably, I'm thinking like a few weeks. I mean, unless some people really want to see us screwing up and screwing around with the team and figuring it out as we go, like what the proper strategy the team, or maybe using the wrong loadout.
Yeah.
I mean, all right, so using a new team always starts with the kernel of an idea. So maybe somebody with a really good passive or a really good special. I mean, a good example of this was a few years ago when Cloak of Destiny first came out, and I think we were really early with the idea of taking advantage of Batgirl's stun on Special 1. So then you try the loadout, you play with it for a bit, and you see where you're having trouble or where it could be better. And then you make adjustments, right? So I'm thinking like it's some dedicated play for a few weeks is really what it takes to make a good team, or a good trial of a team to see how good it is. So and it's not really a fear of being wrong so much, but it's that I want to be right? Otherwise, we could have a new, this is me with air quotes, great team every week, and I mean, it would really just be clickbait if I was going to do that, and it wouldn't be that great. I mean, it's sort of our content in a lot of ways, I think, benefits from the fact that we're not really aggressively trying to just get views for the sake of getting views, right?
That's true. Yeah. I think at this point we're still making stuff that's kind of weird and niche and as much for us as it is for anyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe, I mean, I guess if something else comes up, I mean, I think I'm going to add another, when the Tentu Totem comes out, I'm going to do another sort of best team using Ares. But for now, I think probably not anytime soon. Same with we've gotten some recent requests for like a top 10 character, top 10 card video too.
Yeah. So there you go. The next and final question comes from Jonathan Hung. And they say, thanks for sharing and for the many great videos lately. As you no longer have unboxing videos, are you planning to add recommendations to the Q&A&T videos? I recently read through the Alan Moore Miracleman / Marvelman run and enjoyed it.
Glad you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for the feedback. I love Alan Moore. Alan Moore is absolutely, hands down,
best comic book writer?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't read anything better.
His body of work is just... I mean, there's lots of other good writers.
Sandman's supposed to be really good by Neil Gaiman. I have not gotten into it. I know you have.
I have read Sandman. But I think as far as the breadth and the kind of writing that he's done, Alan Moore's stuff is just so compelling. He's done it in a bunch of different ways. Yeah. His body of work, I think, is probably more impressive. But I think you're right. Neil Gaiman is pretty much up there. Mm-hmm. But he's really known for... in comic book work, at least, just Sandman. Like he's written a lot of books. I think we've gone to a couple of his readings.
He's done a lot of good stuff.
He's done a lot of good stuff, but yeah. But I guess you're right. I think thank you for asking though, and it gives us an excuse to talk a little bit about the kind of stuff that we like, and maybe it's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Maybe do a few recommendations every once in a while at the end of these Q&A&T videos, unless we can justify making its own video.
Mm-hmm, for sure. I think at one point, very briefly in the recap, I would sometimes mention the games that I was playing.
Yeah.
And the stuff that I'm doing has kind of coalesced a lot into some more, like just a couple small multiplayer games. But one really cool thing that we both did recently is we played the game What Remains of Edith Finch.
Oh, that was really good.
Which is... without going into spoilers, because really it's better to go in blind. It's a narrative game where you explore an old house and you kind of dig up memories of your family.
Yes. And
so it's like interactive movie or story more than it is like just what you would traditionally think of as a game, but it's really, really good.
See, and what's funny is we were talking about this afterwards. And you played it first, and I played it after, and you were very careful to avoid any spoilers.
Yeah.
And I think the things that you were thinking of actually talking with me about might have, I guess, technically been considered spoily.
And it's funny because I sat my friend down too and made him play it.
Yeah.
And afterwards he said, I'm so glad you didn't say anything. Almost anything you could have told me would have been like spoiling a moment of surprise for me. See, so you were on the total other end of the spectrum.
Yeah, I would have actually been happy with having a slightly different idea and having a bit more information, simply because I think when I start playing a game, I have expectations, and then I play it a certain way, and the way I play it is I try to be complete, right? I try to sort of figure stuff out. I feel like I'm working at it, and if I had the chance to maybe just step back and treat it like
a story.
Yeah, a short story, but an interactive short story, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think I could have maybe, I don't know, I don't want to say enjoyed it more, but I could have just been a little bit more relaxed. I guess maybe I'm a little bit of a tense kind of player.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's something that's crazy. Like, it's a really worthwhile experience if you can play it. If you have a PC that can run it, I think almost anybody would like it.
Yeah, so we'll maybe put a link to that in the description.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
So there we go. We can maybe try another recommendation next week if this one gets, I guess, any positive reception, or if we just, I guess, I enjoyed doing
whatever.
this.
Yeah, you know what? If it comes up again, we're not gonna make it a regular thing, but maybe if something comes up that we're into and that we like, we'll mention it here.
Yeah, just like all of our other videos, we're only gonna put something in if we feel like it's actually worth saying.
Yeah.
So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Komoda.